Hello children, myself Krishna. Welcome to my channel. Actually this channel is regarding NEET, especially for medical stream students. So still we have a 56 days more. Today is June 1st. Okay, so still I'm having some confusion in physics and now I don't know anything. I was blurred in my mind. So what I have to do? For that only this is a classes I'm teaching now. And I'm planning most important chapters only, okay, because my target is everyone minimum, if they listen my class they should get minimum 100 marks. That's why I wrote the target is greater than 100. What is the target now? The target is greater than 100. Okay, for that not only listening my classes, you should concentrate NCERT of my selected chapters. And you have to see previous year question papers, okay, and now and my classes and some worksheets if you prepare, some worksheets, and last you have to use minimum 5 to 7 full portions you have to solve, and then check yourself, because every student is able to get in bio 320 maximum, otherwise 340 also they are getting. In chemistry they are getting 120 also, but the physics they are getting 50 or 60, less than 100. For that people the class, the mark is reducing, the total mark is reducing. That's why my target is to boost this mark so that they can get a good selection in a good college. Okay. So that's why I'm planning like this. And finally we are in a peak stage now. But no problem. No need to get any tension now. Minimum chapters, if you read also, you will get 100 marks. Okay, children? Compulsory, it is very, very necessary in these sessions, in this peak competition, you have to read physics also. Don't neglect this one, because everyone can able to read this one. Okay, so that's why today I am going to start current electricity, which compulsory you will get minimum 2 or maximum 3. Okay children, thank you. Now we'll start, okay, and these sessions will go, and I am planning a good number of classes with enough amount of enough concepts also. I am not going to give a very speed up portion. Okay, and now current electricity. Okay, what is the current electricity? We already studied. Already those who are planned now after 12th class, again they are reading. Okay, continuously they are reading. That's why I go with somewhat minimum speed. Okay, rate of net flow of charges. This net is very important, and it's a scalar quantity. The rate of net flow of charges is called current, and now it's a scalar quantity. Current is a scalar quantity, because suppose if you take 3 ampere current and the 4 ampere current, you will get 7 ampere, because they will maintain algebraic sum, not the vector sum. Okay, so because of this, even though it's having magnitude and direction, they are not following the vector law of addition. That's why they will not. So current is a scalar quantity. Okay, because even it's a vector quantity, even though we can say it's a vector quantity, but it will not follow the vector law of addition. And now I is equal to Q by T, where Q is already in the first lesson we studied that NE by Q is equal to NE by T, where N is called number density of electrons. And E is called 1.6 in 10 to the power of minus 19, and where T is called time. Okay, and now we will classify this current into two types. One is instantaneous current, and next one is average current. You can follow this by taking the screenshot, no problem. So instantaneous current, we need to get the calculation of current within a particular time. That it's like just like that. That is, suppose for a time, suppose for a t is equal to 3 seconds, we can calculate the time. That is, for that we need to use first average current. Also, if you know, you can understand. Average current is for, it's a particular, not particular time interval. Time interval. That is, t is equal to 1 second to t is equal to 3 seconds. So that we can write I is equal to average current. I is equal to delta Q by delta T. And delta Q, that is final charge minus initial charge by final time minus initial time. Suppose if you want to get this instantaneous current, that is I is equal to limit delta tends to 0. Delta tends to 0. Delta Q by delta T is equal to dQ by dt. That means we need to do differentiation for this one. To calculate the instantaneous current, we need to do directly the given charge. They will give the format of some formula, and we need to do some differentiation. And for this average current, we need to, like average velocity, like average acceleration, we need to take the final charge minus initial charge by final time minus initial time. Okay. Now we'll see some detail about average current and instantaneous current. Okay. So simultaneously, if you want, you can follow the notes. You can write the notes. Otherwise, you can put the pause button and you can see the formulas. Okay, I want to reduce the time. That's why. And now, average current. Still, if you want to go for average current, I is equal to, already we discussed, I is equal to delta Q by delta T, or we can use one more formula, that is I is equal to integral I bar is equal to, otherwise we can take integral T1 to T2 I dt by integral T1 to T2 dt, like power average, otherwise force average. Here average current average. For that we can use this formula. 3 models will be there in this. 3 models. We'll see that one now. And now, suppose if you take Q is equal to AT minus BT square, 2016 question, AT minus BT square. They told to find out Joule's law by using that, because I square RT. And now when Joule's law will come, I'll teach that one again. Now instantaneously we need this one on the average current. But for this there is no time interval. Just like that they have given to find out the average current. So to find this average current, compulsory we need the time interval, but there is no time interval. That's why we need to do one-time differentiation. So A minus 2BT will come. Now we got a I, and now initial time I will take 0, initial time T1, and now final time purpose I will take I is equal to 0, so that 0 is equal to A minus 2BT. From this T is equal to A by 2B. So we got the initial time and the final time. Okay, now we can take the formula. This formula we can take, otherwise this formula we can take, that is QF minus QI by TF minus TI. Otherwise we can do direct integration, that is I is equal to, I bar is equal to integral 0 to A by 2B, 0 to A by 2B. And we can use this current equation A minus 2B, 2BT by 0 to A by 2B dt. And we know this already integration model. When you calculate this one, you are going to get here A by 2. Just you want to solve yourself. Just this is upper limit minus just AT minus 2BT square by 2 cancel and apply the upper limit, and here there is no function here, A by 2B minus 0, so that everything will be cancelled. You are going to get A by 2. Okay. And if you get Joule's law will come, that will come, and the same I'll come. Okay, I'll say. And now instantaneous current. Instantaneous current for a particular time. Suppose I am taking time T is equal to 3 seconds. For that I am taking now instantaneous current Q is equal to 3T minus 2. 3T minus, otherwise 3T square minus 2. 3d square minus 2. So I is equal to dq by dt differentiation. So one time differentiation if you take, that is 60 minus constant 0. So I is equal to 60. What is the time interval you wanted? I is equal to 6 into 3. So 18 amperes you'll get. Okay, so this is average current by using this formula. Otherwise you can use here QF minus QI, that is initial times. First you have to apply this T is equal to 0, and then you have to apply this A by 2B, so that we can calculate like this also. Otherwise you can calculate like this. Integration process will be speeded. Okay. Next we'll go for one more model, that is Q is equal to T square e power minus 2t. Okay. For this we need to find out the value of time. Find time when current changes its direction. So for that we need to take I is equal to dq by dt. So I is equal to d by dt of what is q? T square e power minus 2t. We can use UV formula. Those who are non-maths, please minimum UV rule, U by V rule also no need. UV rule and d by dt of UV rule. Non-math students, that is U dash V, that is we can take T square and e power minus 2 into minus 2 plus 2t into e power minus 2t. That is one time we have to do this differentiation, and one time we have to do this differentiation, and you have to keep the time 0 to find out that is current 0 have to keep. Current 0 have to keep. 0 is equal to t square minus 2t into minus 2t e power minus 2t. Okay, and now just you have to bring this side and cancel the terms. You will get t is equal to 1 seconds. So find the current from the charge and keep the 0 so that you will get the time interval always. Okay. We come to the next topic, drift velocity. Consider a conductor applied with voltage. The field is in like this, so electrons will be drifted in opposite to the direction of the electric field. We know already, with velocity of drift velocity. Okay, as they will do so many number of collisions, we can say for a single electron it's an average drift velocity we can take, because for every time when it is moving, always it will suffer so many collisions. So that what will happen here, the average drift velocity we can take, that drift velocity is nothing but the free electrons which getting this potential, and because of this battery they are able to move and they will come to the positive terminal of a battery, and they will maintain the velocity of in the order of minus 3 10 power minus 3 to 10 power minus 4 meter per second. Okay, and now this Vd is given by a tau, where tau is called relaxation time, in which electrons will suffer collisions. The time between two successive collisions we can take relaxation time. So from this A is equal to, that is if you want to find out A, the electron will get force F is equal to ma, F is equal to ee, and from this ma is equal to ee and A is equal to ee by m. So Vd is equal to ee by m tau. Why derived? Because Vd proportional to electric field. Suppose this electric field, if it is n, if you take, this is a uniform cross section. Uniform cross section is nothing but the entire is, the field is parallel. At the time the Vd is constant. Suppose if you take non-uniform, this non-uniform, suppose if you take the conductor is like this, the field is now not in a proper direction. Suppose if you consider the point P and the point Q here. Okay, now here electric field will be more here, that is electric field at P is greater than electric field at Q because they are very closure P. And now when electric field is increases, drift velocity also, that is drift velocity at P is greater than drift velocity at Q. But in both the places P and Q, the current is same. The current is same. Because the current does not depend upon the area, and it will be constant with any shape. It depends upon only the time. Okay. And now we have to discuss about this relaxation time and how the effect will come. It will decrease or increase. We will see now. Relaxation time. Already we told about that the average time elapsed between two successive collisions. Okay, this is in the order of 10 power minus 14 seconds. Very, very less. And this relaxation time tau will decrease. When it will decrease, two type of factors will come. Suppose if the temperature increases, so that the number of collisions increases, the number of collisions, successive collisions will increase, so that the time gap will be very, very less at the time, so that the time will decrease, the relaxation time will decrease. Suppose number density of electrons, the free electrons, number density of free electrons, suppose if it is more, so that there is a time, there is enough number of electrons to give more collisions, because the number density is more, whereas in semiconductors we'll see this one, the number density will be more, so that the tau will decrease. So one factor is number of free electrons will increase, so that the time collisions, successive collisions will decrease. Okay, the relaxation time will decrease, and the temperature increases, automatically collisions increases, and the time decreases. And now after relaxation time we'll go for current density. I want to know this current and current density. What is a real definition? It is from current density we can find out the current. From current density we can find out the current. How it is? I is equal to J is equal to the current density is J is equal to I by A, current upon area. That is, if you take here ampere per meter square, and it is a vector quantity. And now from this I is equal to J dot A. If it is a J is constant, we can take like this, because it's a vector quantity, we can take the dot product. And if it is a J is constant, we can use this formula. J is constant, so I is equal to J cos theta will come. Because the area sometimes with angle, that area having some angle, suppose it is a area vector, we can take always in the current direction only. We have to take this current direction, we have to take this current density direction. That's why A cos theta have to take. Suppose if the J is non-uniform, if the J is constant, suppose if J is variable, we can take I is equal to integral J dot dA, like electric flux. So the flux of electric density will give the current. The flux of electric density will give the current. Sometimes we can use by using graph also, we can take that is between J and A, and if you calculate suppose like this, non-uniform, that is, and if you calculate the area for this, we can find out the current. So from the current density we can find out the current. So this is relaxation time and current density. Now, Ohm's law. V proportional to I. V is equal to IR at a constant temperature for that material. And now R is equal to V by I, V is equal to V, I is equal to, we can make any formula we can convert. R is equal to V by I is equal to V by R. Suppose if we take this one for metallic conductors, sometimes they ask graphs also, because especially we can get some ratio problems, graph problems, and some circuit problems. And electrical instruments are there, meter bridge, potentiometer, those also. The main topics are there, but now this is basic. I'll go very deeper and deeper, no problem. Okay, for metallic conductor, suppose if you take VI graph, the slope will come here, that is R is equal to, that is slope formula tan theta is equal to V by I. So what is V by I? The V by I is nothing but R, that is R is equal to tan theta. The slope can be getting by tan theta. Now if you take the two graphs, that is, suppose if they have given ones like this, R1 is maintaining at the temperature T1 and R2 resistance is having at a temperature T2, which is having more resistance, Suppose this is having theta 1, this is having theta 2, which is more slope because R proportional to tan theta, so which is having more angle, for that resistance will be more, so that R1 is greater than R2 is the having more, and temperature, that is here T1 is greater than also T2 also we can say. And this is called VI graphs. Suppose if you take IV graph, this IV graph, the slope inverse will come, that is tan theta is equal to 1 by R. So the more the angle, the less the resistance. So the same formula when you take theta 1 and theta 2, the more the angle, you will get the less the resistance, that is R1, T1, R2, T2. So R1 less than R2. So that T1 less than T2, or T2 greater than T1. Okay, like this they are asking some graphical models. So Ohm's law, some graphs for metallic conductors, VI graph and IV graph. Okay children. This Ohm's law is not applicable because every time they use it. That this Ohm's law is not applicable for Ohm's law for diodes, for transistors, or we can take generally semiconductors, we can take the Ohm's laws, or the way we can take one more, ionized gases. Ionized gases we can't apply this one. Okay, this Ohm's law, after this we can go for Ohm's law, temperature dependence of resistance. That's it. Because as a constant temperature we are saying here, we can take temperature dependence on resistance. R is equal to R naught 1 plus alpha T minus T naught. This is the formula. Where T naught is called base temperature, we can take 0 degrees, so that R is equal to, the final resistance is equal to R naught 1 plus alpha T. What is alpha here? Alpha is nothing but temperature coefficient of resistance. Temperature coefficient of resistance and given by per degree centigrade units. And alpha is R2 minus R1 by R1 into T2 minus T1. This formula can be used to find out the alpha. Okay, this alpha value is positive for conductors, so that resistance increases on increasing the temperature for conductors. Alpha value is negative for the semiconductors, that is resistance decreases, so that temperature, with increasing temperature. Alpha value 0 we can take for alloys, so that we can take resistance has no effect on resistance if you increase the temperature. Based upon this not applicable, that is when alpha is equal to 0, the resistance has no effect. We can take the materials. We can understand here the temperature dependence. Further, we can use on graph also. The graph can be taken with the resistance and temperature. The graph is coming like this. Why it is not coming from 0 axis? Because initially it is having some R naught resistance. Initially it is having resistance, so that from this we can take, it is in the format of, that is if you reform this one, R is equal to R naught plus R naught alpha T. So Y is equal to mx plus C, that is in the form of straight line. So in the place of m we can use R naught alpha. If you want to take this graph slope R naught alpha. Okay. Like this you can understand this. Temperature depends on resistance. Finally, the resistance depends upon temperature. If temperature increases, resistance increases for the, especially for the conductors. We need only conductors in this lesson. And alloys also we will consider, because for the next problem, next one, two resistors R1 which is having alpha 1 value, alpha 1, R2 and alpha 2. They are connected in series. Now we have to find out effective resistance, that is effective resistance alpha effective also we can find out. Alpha effective, that is sigma R alpha by sigma R. That is R1 alpha 1 plus R2 alpha 2 by R1 plus R2. Now this alpha effective, because it becomes 0 for alloys, with that concept, this one make it as 0 for the series, and because I am taking now alloys concept like that, so 0, that is R1 alpha 1 is equal to minus R2 alpha 2, R1 by R2 is equal to minus alpha 2 by alpha 1. Very important. If you want, you can take for the parallel also. For the parallel, you will get R1 by R2 is equal to, if they are connected in parallel, you will get a minus alpha 1 by alpha 2. Okay? Thank you. Next, after this, we will go for some relations you can take. Some relations, because sometimes they'll ask the directly proportional, what is the relation between current and drift velocity, all these things you'll understand. That's why we need to take some relations. Okay, the relation between current and drift velocity is already we know, so that I proportional to Vd. Okay, Vd is equal, already we know, that is Vd is equal to E by m tau, and from that I is equal to I by A is equal to, suppose N, A already came down, NEVD, so J, I by S is nothing but J is equal to NEVD, so J proportional to Vd. Like this we can obtain like Vd proportional to E, we can obtain so many relations, and current density and electric field, that is from J is equal to I by A, we know I is equal to V by R. So J is equal to V by R into A. In the place of I, V by R you get. And R is equal to rho L by A into A. In the place of R, substitute this one, A cancel. So J is equal to, what is V by L? E is nothing but V by L. So E by rho. Actually what is rho? Resistivity. The resistivity reciprocal we can take conductivity. So that J is equal to sigma E. So J proportional to E. Like this, so many relations we can obtain. They can ask in between any relations. Okay? So we will continue the next session. We will continue this resistance series and parallel and Wheatstone-Bridge problems, some techniques and some direct problems without no need to use any resistance. Some shortcuts will be given. Please follow me, subscribe my channel. Thank you everyone.